Hello, everyone. We are at Point Reserve Park
Yeah, Park in Jacksonville.
in Jacksonville, and today we are going to talk about the word grown. Grown has what in it?
Own.
Own. So when you grown, you own things. You own what you say, you take the responsibility, and you own some stuff.
Right.
Because you can't say that you grown if you don't own. People always say, oh, well, you don't own this, you don't own. No, it's ownership, meaning you have to take the responsibility of the things you have caused, the things you have done, and take ownership if you're grown. Right?
Right.
Grown folks can't just say, it's not enough to say like the old folks used to do. It's not enough to say, just say what I say and do what I say and not what I do. You have to do what you say. Correct?
Right.
They can't just continue to just say whatever they want to say and continue to disobey the Almighty and don't do things His way.
Right.
Doing things Yahweh, you have to take ownership. You have to own, when you're grown, what you do, correct?
Right.
What do you have to say about that? People that don't own when they say they're grown.
Well, people who don't own have to rent or lease, which means other people have to be responsible for some other things. So you got to make sure that you take responsibility and take ownership so that you can soar in the right way.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
Somebody else got to take over their responsibilities. That means somebody else is keeping up with the maintenance. Somebody else is keeping up with the things that an owner will have to keep up with. When you own a house, you are responsible to keep up with that house. When something breaks, you are the one that is the owner that has to take care of the breakage. When you rent, they have someone to fix those things for you because you are not the owner. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Absolutely.
So, when you grown, you own what you do.
Right.
You have to take ownership
Absolutely.
in everything that you do.
Everything. Responsibility is key.
To get you where God has called you to be. So, again, in order to win, you have to stop your sin
Mm-hmm.
to begin again.
Yeah.
This show is called All Things Renewed.
Right.
He will renew it. It's by the renewing of your mind so you're not continuously spiritually blind and stuck in the bond all the time. He said, if you seek, you shall find.
Right.
I'm
Right.
just here to remind you.
That's right. We're here to remind you. Straight up.
So, could you give them an example of what I'm saying? That we
Okay.
have to start displaying?
We have to display, again, leadership, ownership over the situation, responsibility, which is key, and allowing God to push you into the place of grace. But you have to start moving into those three areas, those key areas that have you free. And sometimes we think it's going to happen overnight. All you have to do is start leading that ship, and you'll get to your destination. Start owning the place that God has placed you in, and you'll start seeing the fruit. You'll start seeing the fruit thereof. You'll start seeing those things that God has placed before you, because He's given it to you. But it's like, somebody who has a car. You never put oil in the car, the engine will stop. You never put gas, it won't go nowhere. You let the battery just sit and drain, it'll go nowhere. You won't be able to tow anything or any people to the destination. It won't even start.
You can no longer, because like he said, drain. You can no longer drain people because you want to continue to blame people. You can no longer blame anybody because we're going up there without any excuses. So it's best, I suggest that it's best, since we're going up there without any excuses, we're not going to be able to point at anybody else, because God is going to be asking you about yourself and why you did what you did. Because you have self-control. The fruit of the Spirit, he talked about fruit. The fruit of the Spirit is self-control. So he gave you the self-control, so why didn't you do your role? Why didn't you use self-control? So, as a leader, you have to protect. You have to project what's about to be next. With God by your side. He said, acknowledge him in all of your ways and allow God to direct your path so that you can last. Otherwise, you're going to be a thing of the past and you're not going to last. And he's going to put it on blast. So, get over the past. Move forward so you can win at the end and get out of your sin so you can begin again. Take control, stand in your role, take ownership, don't dip because someone could trip.
Straight up.
So you must grow up so you can show up in the way that God will have you to be.
Yeah.
To lead others to whom they are called to be. Lead them to their destiny. So they can be all that they can be. So you have to be able to see in order to achieve and lead so you won't continue to bleed on others.
Wow.
Help them discover the lover that's not their mother. But there is no other for them to discover, right?
Right.
There's a price that you have to pay. Again, so we just talked about line leader. So again, in order to win, you must begin to do the work and convert and stop with the hurt.
Right.
Because if you don't convert and you don't do the work, you cannot convert anybody with your hurt. So again, we're talking about grown and own and leadership. You can't be grown, you can't own. It's not about age. Age ain't nothing but a number. It's about you taking leadership and ownership. Can you explain to them what that means?
It's about, she talked about grown up. It's about own up, meaning taking responsibility. Earlier we talked about leadership. Again, if that ship leader is not leading, it will sink. So again, it's about taking responsibility. And you ever wonder why they always say own up to your responsibility, not own down, because own down is pretty much you're laying it down. So if you take the responsibility and throw it overboard to somebody else, again, the ship will go any which way the water or whatever's controlling it will take it. So if you take control of that that ship, the wheel, or let God lead you as you take responsibility of that situation or the ship, you can go to the destination that you need to go.
But if you can't lead the boat and you get distracted, if you're doing the ship and you already got to stay focused, but if you get off track and you stop your focus and you turn around to see what's around you, then you can also wreck the ship because you're distracted by everything else that's around you instead of the destination and the place that you're trying to be. Correct?
Right. There's so much scripture that press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling. That leader has a destination point where they're headed to. That's like somebody in the Marines, and they have a destination, a target that needs to necessarily attack on that situation, and not necessarily a negative thing, but to attack. And that in this leadership direction means to handle it, take care of it, annihilate the situation where it won't be a financial issue or a family issue. So you attack that issue with your leadership. You overtake it. You know what I'm saying? You rule over it. You know what I'm saying? So you get out of debt. You're a leader, so you take care of all of it. You take on the whole responsibility.
because it is a responsibility. So, again, as you know, for this show on Let's Be Deep, we know that you will reap if you continue to repeat. So we have to beat instead of repeat. Can you explain?
Say that again?
You have to beat, and so you don't repeat. You have to beat this. You can't continue to do the same things that you used to do. It's time to take responsibility. So,
Wow.
Can you explain that?
You have to beat this before you repeat this. Meaning you have to overcome it.
So you don't numb it and dumb it.
So you can say, I want it. And you know, the Bible says we overcome him by the blood of the Lamb, word of our testimony. When you overcome something, you're over on top of it. You're on top and you're going to that next level, which means some people have to fight their way up. God makes it easier for us when we're taking the lead through him. He pushes us into the place of grace where we can overcome those situations. When we try to do it out of our own strength without God, it'll happen. It's just going to take longer. God brought the children of Israel, all they had to go was a couple of miles. Like I said, not as long as it would have taken a couple of days' journey, but because they did it out of their own strength, it took them 40 years. It shouldn't have to take you 40 years to get to a place where God has graced you to be in a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. So are you taking that ownership and letting God lead your ship, but you're leading as God is pushing you?
The same thing with Jonah. You cannot continue to go the opposite way because there's people that's waiting on the other side. They only had, 40 days before God was going to destroy all of them. Jonah took some of their 40 days because he was disobeying the Almighty. He went the opposite way. We cannot continue to go the opposite way because there's other people that we have to lead the way to that has been led astray. So again, my friend, we have to get the win at the end. We cannot continue to stay stuck in our sin and not take ownership of the things that we do. We cannot confuse the two. Just because you've grown don't mean that you own nothing.
Right.